Well, that just happened. For those of you who are late to the game, there was a press conference today at 3 o'clock, and Dr. Strang and the Minister of Health announced that restrictions will not be lifting as we thought tomorrow, and that in fact we're going to continue in phase 4 until October 4th, maybe safer to say till at least October 4th, until the whole proof of vaccination system is in place for non-essential services. And so I just wanted to update you on what that means for Deepwater and for our reopening this week in theory. Here's what it looks like. We will be relaunching to the extent that we can. That means that we will be having gatherings in both Halifax and Dartmouth at 9:30 and at 11. So all kinds of opportunity for you to find a seat. We'll still be wearing masks. We'll still be distanced from each other. And you'll still need to register in advance. But again, in advance can mean literally as you get there, when you leave your house in the morning. It's not that we need a massive heads up. It's just that we need to know who was there, should there ever need to be contact tracing. For our kids ministry, this does have significant implications for our kids ministry because it's such limited spaces in which we do kids ministry that distancing is just really not a practical possibility for us. And so our kids ministry will remain online for the coming 3 weeks. We're gonna enjoy together, those of you with young kids, 3 classic episodes of Upstream online, and that's going to give Pastor Jackie time to continue building her team and fleshing out what we need for a fuller reopening. And so that'll continue on just as it's been for the last months and months and months. But again, a reminder, if you have school age and younger, elementary school age and younger kids, you are welcome to bring them along. They are welcome in the worship gathering. On Sunday, we had a bunch of younger kids and it was a little noisy, and that was great. And so if you want to stay home and watch that live, you can. It gets reposted later, so you can watch it later with your kids if you prefer. But I just want you to know you have those options, you have those flexibilities. It's not an either or thing, or it's not a, kids aren't welcome to come to the main worship gathering. They have to stay home and do the online thing. It's your choice as a family how you want to navigate that. For those of you who serve on host team, I'm sure Pastor Megan will be in touch with you, but that's going to continue just as we planned to begin to rebuild our host teams. There's nothing about the restrictions that stops us from doing that. In terms of worship, band, music stuff, the plans there all continue the same, no changes there. In terms of what we're doing for sermon series and content and all that, that remains the same. So really the two biggest differences, the two biggest changes are restrictions are still in place, including masking and distancing and the need to register in advance for big church, as the kids call it, and Upstream is going to remain online for the next 3 weeks. And then Lord willing, hopefully we'll get this current outbreak under control, and Sunday, October 10th will be our first Sunday without restrictions. But again, I want to invite you to come on out. Thursday nights, there's tons of space on Thursday nights. And then in Dartmouth, there should be plenty of room. And Sundays at North Street have been a little more snug. But the registrations are ultimately capped. So if you try to register in advance and it says you can't register, then you'll know we've reached the point where we can't distance anymore with that number of people. But you can always try another gathering time or another location. Just because you live in Halifax doesn't mean you can't go to Dartmouth, and vice versa. Look, I know this is disappointing. For some of you, it's a relief, but for a lot of us, this is kind of disappointing, at least on the church front. We were really looking forward to being open again, to being able to gather more freely together again. And I want to acknowledge that that's real. The frustration is real. The disappointment is real. But we talked about this on Sunday, right? That this was unforeseen to us, but it wasn't unforeseen to God. He's not caught off guard by this. He knew this is how the fall was going to go anyway. And he's the God of the future, even when it's uncertain. And like we talked about on Sunday, he promises to work all things together for good to those who love him and are called according to his purpose. That's us, guys. That's who that verse is talking about. It's talking about you and I as believers. And so I am choosing, as an act of faith and as an assertion of my will, to believe that this 3 more weeks of restrictions is ultimately going to be used by God for our good as a church. It's going to give us more time to finalize facility stuff, and particularly in Dartmouth. It's going to give us 3 more weeks to get work done that was going to be a real mad dash this next 4 or 5 days. It's going to give us 3 more weeks to continue to help build the volunteer teams that we need to do ministry well. We're going to talk a lot about that this Sunday. I do want to say this. This next 2 weeks are really important messages, really kind of pivotal to who we are as a church and where we're going and what we need to be doing. And so I want to encourage you, if you're not going to be there live, do please go out of your way and make it a point to listen to either the sermon podcast or to watch the video, whether you can watch it live or after the fact. I really want everyone who calls Deepwater home to hear what God's laid on my heart to say for this Sunday and also Thursday night. So that's it. Basically, a few things are going to get closer to normal. Worship team, host team, those kind of things. For the most part, we're continuing the same model of ministry we've been in for the last several months, except for also in Dartmouth now. And Lord willing, on Sunday, October 10th, following the lift of restrictions on October the 4th, we'll be able to go back to that more full reopening, live kids programming, all that kind of thing. Love you, church. I'm praying for you. Keep praying for me and the rest of the leaders. And we'll see you Thursday or Sunday live or online in Halifax or in Dartmouth. Bye.